I grew up never listening, not listening to music much at all. When I was in primary school, I never listened to music. It wasn't a part of my life at all. And during high school, I started to listen to music about grade 9, which was pretty late. Most guys were already listening to music for quite a while by that stage. And throughout primary school also, when we had music lessons, I was pathetic, really. I had no clue what was going on. And I remember being terrified when I had to do something in front of the class which was musical. Say, for instance, when I was in grade 6, we all had to give a talk about a musical instrument we had made. And I remember mine was hopeless. It was just something I just had to shake around, and all I could do was shake it up or down, and shake it left and right to make a different sound, and that was it. And my talk was so bad that out of the whole class, they made me repeat my talk, and no one else had to do it, just me. And I really felt at that time of my life like I am hopeless at music. Music just has no part in my life at all. So throughout school, throughout primary school and high school, I never had anything to do with music. I remember my mum had a guitar at home, and I thought it'd be pretty cool to be able to play the guitar, but the guitar was missing a few strings for one, and I asked my mum if she'd be able to teach me, and she couldn't really remember anything, how to play any chords or anything like that. And I didn't even know what a chord was. I hadn't even heard of them back then, so I had no idea. And I just kind of felt like, oh well, you know, I asked, but she had no idea, so it's not going to happen. Then I remember also when I was out of high school and I was in this young adults group, a Christian group, Catholic group, and they asked me, this guy was asking me how a song went, and I started to sing a line or two of the song, and because I was a bit nervous of not remembering the words properly and just not used to singing in front of anyone, I remember I just went really bad, like the singing sounded pathetic, and he told me, do me a favour, never sing again. And from that moment, for years and years, I never sang in front of anyone. And I remember being a part of a mission group, and we used to, when we were praising God and singing songs, if any time that everyone went quiet and I could hear my own voice, I would straight away just zip it. I wouldn't sing at all because I was so embarrassed about my voice. And I remember when I started my life as a committed Catholic, I remember being on a mission group and a mission team, and one of my friends, he played the guitar, and I asked him if he could teach me, and he said yeah, but we just never got around to it, and it never ended up happening. And I remember meeting a brother there, and we were staying with him, and his name was Brother Paul, and he told me that, like, he was in his 40s, I think, and he told me, it's never too late to learn playing the guitar, because he had only just started learning himself. And I said, oh, yeah, I was going to play a few years ago, but my mum didn't know how to teach me, and I asked my friend, but yeah, that hasn't really happened either, so I don't think that's ever going to happen for me. But he did tell me it's never too late, but at the time, nah, I just kind of brushed it off as in, that's a bit funny, like, I'll never be musical. Anyway, the next year I joined another mission team, and we had our team announced. I was in a group called NET, National Evangelisation Teams, and I remember them they announced the team, and I was going to be in a team going to Geraldton in Western Australia. And one of the guys on my team, he played the guitar, and he was pretty good at it. And anyway, I asked him, could you teach me how to play the guitar? Because I was in a little prayer group with some friends, and we used to sing Christian songs, but none of us could play the guitar. None of us could play any instruments. So I wanted to be able to play the guitar just so I could help and to add to our prayer times. So I had a good reason to want to be able to play, not just for myself. Didn't want to be selfish, anything like that. Didn't want to be rich or famous. That had nothing to do with anything that I could even imagine. All I wanted to do was to be able to play the guitar for this prayer group, to be able to help us grow closer to God. Anyway, my friend said, sure, I'll teach you how to play. And I remember talking to another friend, and he said, if you're going to learn how to play when you're on this team, start learning as soon as possible. So then it definitely happens, and it doesn't just get forgotten about. And now that I think about it, that's what happened on my other mission team, where I was going to do it, but it just never ended up happening. So we were headed for Geraldton, Western Australia, and I remember headed onto a plane from Brisbane, caught a plane to Perth, and then had to wait a few hours, and then caught another plane to Geraldton, and then got picked up there. And we met the bishop, and he was showing us around the house, and he was looking around the house, just saying, here's the kitchen, this is the bathroom, this is the lounge room. And anyway, he got to the room that myself and my friend were going to stay in for the whole year, and he said, this will be the room where the boys stay. And as he opens up the door, we look inside the room, and there's a guitar just standing up against the wall, and we just looked at each other and just said, it must be a sign, God must want me to be able to play the guitar. And we were just laughing about it, and making a joke about it and stuff, and it must be a sign. And anyway, we started inquiring about whose guitar it was, and the bishop didn't know. And we asked a few priests as well who knew who was staying in the house and all that kind of business, and no one could tell us for sure whose guitar it was or who it belonged to. Anyway, so I started learning the guitar and started playing on that guitar that was in the room, and apparently it sounded really bad, but I was pretty much tone deaf back then. I didn't have a clue whether it sounded good or not, so it was fine for me to practice on. I didn't complain. And to give you an idea of how little I knew about the guitar when I started learning and about music, my friend, after 2 days of being in Geraldton, he started to teach me, and because we wanted to get onto it quickly. And he said, put your hand on the 3rd fret. And I said, what's a fret? I said, I really don't know anything about the guitar. The only thing that I know is that this is a chord. And I was pointing at a string, and he said, that's actually a string. So it's well, okay, I guess I know nothing about the guitar then. So anyway, he taught me a few chords and taught me how to play a song that I liked back then. So after about one month of starting to learn how to play the guitar, I was pretty much able to play that first song, and that was pretty cool for me. It was a bit of a thrill. And anyway, that same friend and another friend, one day, they were trying to write a rap song, a Christian rap song, and for me, I hated rap songs, and I had no time for them at all. throughout high school, I used to always pay people out who used to listen to rap songs, and yeah, it just meant nothing to me at all. But I thought to myself, oh, maybe I should try and write a rap song. These guys are trying to do it. It wasn't really going anywhere, but I thought, yeah, maybe I could do that. But I doubt it, but I'll try. So in my mind, I didn't have the confidence to say it out loud at all, but in my mind I was just thinking, say, these guys were trying to write a song about Jesus, and they're saying, oh, his name was Jesus and he died when he was 33, and like nothing was really rhyming. And anyway, it came into my head, his name was JC, like Jesus Christ. His name is JC. He was crucified when he was 33. He died on a cross for you and me so that we could live for eternity. And I thought, oh, that actually sounds alright. But I was way too shy, way too low on confidence with music to let anyone hear it at all. Anyway, the next day I was having a prayer time, and after the prayer time I started looking at going through the words of that rap again that were starting to come into my head, and when I started going through that in my head, more words started coming to me, and more words, and after about 3 days I thought, I've got to start writing this down. So when I started writing down this rap song, the more I wrote, the more words started coming into my head, and I realised this isn't just something I'm making up. This is God speaking to me through a rap song, which, I've never been musical. I wasn't good at poetry at school. I never listened to rap songs, and suddenly I'm writing this rap song. I knew this can't just be from me. Like, this is from God. Anyway, by the end of the week, I'd written that rap song, and and people that don't like rap songs thought it was alright, and so did I, and I hated rap songs. So I knew this had to be the work of God, and more and more over the next few weeks, actually in the next month, I'd written 5 rap songs already, and I kept writing these rap songs, just kept coming to me and coming to me and coming to me. And that was 6 years ago, and still to this day, God will still give me these rap songs. And as it's gone on, I've started writing other songs too, like not just rap songs, but some quieter songs and some rock sounding songs, and God just speaks to me through them, and sometimes it might be because God has to teach me a lesson, and He wants me to change the way I'm acting, or He wants me to pray more, or He wants me to believe in Him more, and I'll be able to write that song that He gives me. But I believe that I have to share that with other people too, not just because I need to show them what God's done in me, but because these are messages that I believe God wants to speak to not just me, but lots and lots of people. Probably everyone, depending on what part of their life they're in, what stage of life, what they're going through. Because some of the songs are for times when I've felt really down and I've needed a lift, and God's given me that lift up that I've needed. And sometimes it's been when I've been amazed by what God can do, and sometimes it's been when I've learnt about something that God's told me or shown me. So I believe I've just got to share those songs with you and with everyone, and God is amazing. Like, God took someone like me who was not musical, knew nothing about music, and even had no desire to be musical, and just through me wanting to follow God and answering His call to do those mission trips and through wanting to help out with the prayer group, God has taken that and made it into something much greater than I could ever imagine. And it even says in the Bible that God will do things that are greater than we can even think or imagine. And I believe God's done that in me. And it also says God will take the weak and make them strong. And I definitely, as a musician, I feel weak. Like, I feel like I don't know much at all. And I can't read music at all. But God uses me. And I'm sure that whether your calling is to be a musician or not a musician, it doesn't really matter. I think the main thing is that you listen to what God's calling you to do and you try and follow that. And we need to lead a life that is pleasing to God, because He does so much for us. And seriously, I want to end up in heaven with God. And if I'm leading a life that's pleasing to Him and doing what He wants me to do and trying to live the way He wants me to live, I believe that's given me myself the best chance of getting to heaven. And I know that God has created all of us to want to get to heaven too. So I want to encourage you to seek God out. Ask Him to be a big part of your life. Ask Him to show you what your gifts are, what your talents are. Maybe you'll discover some talents that you never knew that you had. And ask God what He wants you to do. And seek Him out in prayer. Read the Bible. If you never do it at the moment, start off small and build on it. If you already do it, build on it some more. The main thing that we can do is seek God out, because He loves us so much. He sent His only Son Jesus to die for us, and if He can do a miracle in my life, He can do a miracle in your life too. God bless.